Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. Cammy and Karen Go Keto, where Cammy and I are transitioning to a low carb, ketogenic lifestyle, carnivore lifestyle. And today, Cammy and I are going to talk about food and foods that we like to eat and foods that we should not be eating. So, Cammy, take it away.
Hi, everybody. We haven't seen you in a while, so it's so good to be here. I went out and was with Karen for 10 days in Chicago, and I was helping her mother and helping her with her lockers and her toys. And I did pretty well for the first week or so. I did start to sneak in a little bit of Diet Coke here and there from McDonald's, and
Wait,
otherwise was
I got to stop you. We weren't sneaking. We were doing it right out in the open, both of us.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And this is one of the things that we're going to bring up later when I talk about eating off plan is the sneaky part of it. I like to think that it's sneaky. So that goes way, way back to when I was young and there were 7 kids in the house and I would sneak, little bits of sweets out of the kitchen because if it was small enough, you wouldn't get caught because there were other people doing it too. So you were kind of in the mix. But the last few days of being out there in Chicago, today's the 14th. I drove on the 10th, 4 days ago, up to Wisconsin to visit some girlfriends up there from medical school. And it was a 2.5 hour drive. And on the way up, I ate some frozen yogurt. And I ate 2 scoops of frozen yogurt with some nuts on it. And then I did fine with them. We went to a supper club and we were eating together. And then on the way back, I ate a lot of junk food. I ate the frozen yogurt. Oh, on the way up too, I did have a little bit of I had a little bit of regular M&Ms on them and they made me sick. They were those little ones, the mini M&Ms, and they tasted awful and they taste like chemicals and they made my tummy hurt, but I ate them anyway. And then on the way down, I ate more frozen yogurt. I ate a Cinnabon, and then I was off and running. I ate Doritos and a Diet Coke and some peanut butter M&Ms. And I think that was it. But the way it started, and I'm really disappointed because I thought my binging was done. My last binge had been on May 3rd, and this was June 10th. So yeah, June 11th actually was when I really kind of went off the deep end, but I still am doing it apparently. And a lot of it I think had to do with a couple of things. One was being off my regular routine. And when you're in your regular routine, sometimes I think, oh, my life is so boring. I don't have anything exciting going on, because I used to deliver babies and do crash C-sections and operate with robots and save lives and, those kinds of things. So sometimes my life seems so boring. But when I'm out of my element and I'm out of my regular routine, I really just wanted to be back in my regular routine because I can anticipate a little bit better what's coming down the pipeline for me and how to adjust accordingly. I also have a little more time to go to the gym regularly, to be doing my stretches, to be doing my ALKs, my acts of loving kindness, like sitting in the jacuzzi and doing some journaling and doing those kinds of things. So getting off of my regular routine really made me feel very vulnerable and very weak and very susceptible to kind of the things that are out there in the world, like the advertisements and the signs and these kinds of things that I would see and experience. But the other thing about it was the sneakiness of it. I was driving up to by myself, so nobody would know except for Jeff, because I tell him, which I didn't tell him till later, what was going on with my diet and what I was eating. So there was a sneakiness about that. And that makes me excited and gives me a dopamine hit and helps me justify doing something so crazy and so destructive to myself.
Well, I find it interesting that I saw you a few days ago and you never even mentioned any of this on the way. You didn't tell me on the way that you had that on the way up there or on your way back. And we were together that whole time. And
That's
Go
because
ahead.
when I brought up eating the roll with you at dinner and you said, "Why did you do that?" I can't remember what my response was, but your response was, "No, you didn't." And
Yeah.
so from that point on, I decided I'm just not going to share with you about anything because I can never be supported in the way that I feel supported.
So my support is not to say, you go, girl, when you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. My support to you is having you find out the real reason why you do this shit, right? You're doing
Right.
these destructive things. And one of the destructive, so what I'm hearing is you just can't be real. You just can't accept who you are. And so you have to pretend, right? And
No, I disagree with that. Well, I can't say I disagree. I think there's definitely some of that going on. But part of it I do think also is that I don't feel like you understand the addictive process and how that works with somebody in their lives and how it manages their actions and behavior sometimes.
yeah, I totally get you don't understand that. And I can tell you, I have my own addiction and I know how I manage it. And I know how you don't manage yours. So I would have to say the same thing to you, that you don't know how your addictive brain works. Because I can tell you, if you thought you were going up there unsupported, you could have written in your journal. Did you write in your journal?
No, I did not bring a journal.
Yeah. Did you talk to me about it and say, hey, I know we've got this support thing that we're doing about being accountable on our website, on our YouTube channel. Did you say, let's talk about that?
No, because I felt like we weren't really being accountable anymore because we weren't recording anything.
Yeah, but why didn't you just say, let's get recording because we're not being accountable because I just ate all
Because I
this
did
stuff.
ask you that when I was up there. I asked
Yeah,
you
but
3 times if you wanted to record, and we
yeah,
never
but
got
you didn't say because I just went on 2 binges.
No, that was
If you
before
had
that.
said I went on to, no, yeah, okay. So that is your pretense because you're blaming me for not recording, for how you don't get support, and that's why you can do this cheating thing, right?
No, I don't understand that line of reasoning. I'm certainly not blaming you for anything. I'm blaming myself for not taking a stand for the things that are important to me.
Yeah, but that's part of it. Yeah, great. That's good that you're taking a stand. But you have stuff. Okay, here's a perfect example. We in this channel, we talk about how people transition from one lifestyle to another. And part of your lifestyle is your monthly binges or your every 2 week binges. So part of that
Well,
transition
these last 2 were 6 weeks apart.
or your 6 week binges, every 6 week binges.
Thank you.
So so when you and those are just numbers. This is just a transition. But the whole point of the transition is to make yourself healthier. And you've got this big thing about wanting to lose a lot of weight. And if you put the things into that we've talked about, the tools to support you and me, we've talked about this channel being holding us accountable. We've talked about journaling. We've talked about food plan. We've talked about, a number of other things. And you just decide that it's okay not to do them, even though they're all at your disposal. Example, what did you say at the very beginning of this video? Except for Jeff, you have to be accountable to Jeff. Now, I don't know why you don't think you have to be accountable to this channel, but you thought you had to be accountable to Jeff, but you didn't do it until later. So what was that about?
Um, I don't, as far as the channel goes, I'm really just feeling like we haven't been able to put this channel, we haven't been
Well,
able to
let's
make,
not talk about the channel. Let's answer the question about Jeff.
I don't have a good answer as to why I didn't present the food to him before I ate it. I did actually take a picture of the yogurt on the way up before I ate it and sent it to him.
Okay,
So I did do it there.
and that's the agreement that you have with him.
Right. So I was breaking my agreement with him on the way down.
Yeah. And you don't have, that's accountability. And that's why you don't feel supported by me, because I'm going to call you on breaking your agreements. You
Well,
can't you
you have
can't have it
agreements with
all.
me too that are making it difficult for me to keep my agreements with you.
Okay, well then that needs to be addressed, right? I mean, broken agreements have to be addressed in order to get a clearing around the broken agreement.
That's
But
correct.
but your broken agreement leaves you in a place where you say you're unsupported, and you're creating that lack of support, right? You're
Well, I think
denying the support.
if we back up to talking about agreements, I think one of the issues that I have is that I make agreements with people that I have to think more carefully about the agreements that I make with people before I make them, because I have to make sure that I can carry them out. Because one of the agreements that I felt I had with you when I went out there was because you paid for everything and paid me some money to be out there with you, that my job was to support you in whatever you needed to do. If that was taking care of your mom, fine. If that was helping you in the storage lockers, fine. If that was whatever you needed, fine. And so when you would say, well, I don't have time to tape, or let's do it later, part of me was supporting the agreement that my job was to be there to help you do whatever you needed to do. And that's where I was having some issue. That's where I was having some confrontation with myself about that. And I should have, communicated that with you. But I feel like I've made it clear that, I'm here and available to do this channel.
You have, but you don't say, because I binged on my way home. You didn't get out of the van, my van, you drove, got out of the van and didn't say, hey, I binged on the way home. Let's go on the channel. You just said, hey, let's get to work. Let's go see how your mom is doing and let's go look at the storage lockers.
That's because when I told you that I ate the roll previously, you weren't willing or able to listen to my answer in any way, shape, or form. You said, no, you didn't. And so I didn't want to have a videotape where that's all we did.
Okay, so what was it that you said you ate a roll? And what did I say?
I don't remember what you said.
I said why or something. I don't know.
You said why, and I don't remember my response.
Okay, so when was the dinner roll that you ate?
That was when I was at the supper club with the girls up in Wisconsin on the 10th.
Exactly. And then you had the whole binge afterwards. So I don't know when you told me about the dinner roll. Is it that you mentioned, oh, I had a dinner roll. I'll see how Karen responds to that so that I can tell her so I can decide whether or not to tell her about the binge. That's totally inauthentic.
Well, that might be the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, well, whatever my response about the dinner roll is double for your binge. I don't know why I do it. I know why you do it. You do it because you feel inferior to the friends that you just saw that were in med school and you're not where you want to be. And that's why you feel sorry for yourself. There's a big void there, a big void of unhappiness because your life isn't where it is where you want it to be. And that's what you fill it with. And in order to not fill it like that, we've talked about tools to transition because what you want, my understanding is that what you want is to be weighing less and healthier, not having a fatty liver, being able to get in and out of your car easily, right? I mean, those are the things. Wearing your clothing.
Having my cardiac profile better, getting off my blood pressure meds.
So I would say if I had that many reasons to do it, I would say, to heck with being a liar and not reliable. I would say, Cammy, this is what I've been doing. Because I really, my why to wanting to do those things, my why, I mean, I'm happy. My pants are falling off me. Now, I don't know if it's because I've been moving around a lot and they're just getting looser and if I go wash them, they'll tighten up, or if it's because I've lost weight, right? And that even includes having the Diet Coke. But I can tell you, yes, having the Diet Coke was a big deal because having the Diet Coke made me feel like shit too. And we agreed to do it. But you didn't tell me about the other things that you'd done. And that would have changed my opinion of recommending the Diet Coke, because maybe the Diet Coke was one of the things that led you that desire for the sweetness. I don't know. Only you know. And you can only tell
Well,
yourself.
if I'm addicted to sugar and I put something sweet in my body, it's just a matter of time till it does trigger me. That's just the chemistry behind it.
So what do you do about that?
Well, there's different things that I do depending on the situation and what I'm in. And, some of the decisions I make are healthier than others.
That
Sometimes
wasn't
I
my
choose,
question. My question was, what do you do about it?
sometimes I drink the Diet Coke, sometimes I don't.
No, my question was, well, when you have the sweet, when you want to put the sweet in, I guess, okay, so sometimes you drink it, sometimes you don't. So how do you so one way to not drink the Diet Coke, I can guarantee you this, is don't say, Karen, let's have a Diet Coke. Because as soon as I hear you say the words, let's have a Diet Coke, I'll be there to have a Diet Coke with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think when you were here, we had quite a few Diet Cokes together.
You brought one home for me once.
Yeah. And that was when we were already, into our Diet Coke. But if you had told me you were, and that was before, I think that was before you went on your trip. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe your trip came and then we were drinking the Diet Coke. No,
I
because your
can't
trip
remember.
no, it was before, because your trip was
At the
the
end.
10th. Yeah, your trip was the 10th and you were only here for that night and then you left. So it was definitely, so that might have been the trigger. Maybe that was what it was. Maybe it was, but as a sugar addict, what do you do to stop yourself from eating sugar or sugar substitutes?
I think that, do you want to go ahead and make that another video? Because we're at 17 minutes. I think that would be a really good discussion to bring up.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's stop this one because I'm really not sure how to edit it. All right. I think I know how, but I might lose that footage. So let's stop it and start over again.
Well, and we're definitely in the transition. We're talking about transition, folks. We are in the
We are
thick of it.
transitioning. All right, guys. We are